my dad, dedicated to my mom.
So here it is.
The start of the show. A little incomplete. Our love still grows. Getting ready to celebrate 17 years. Happy Father's Day. Got Big Tay here. Tayus. All right. This is the freestyle rhyme. I'll probably have to play this on our anniversary, June 30th. We'll probably do an anniversary show. But it's time to get to the show. I don't feel like rhyming today. But happy Father's Day. I don't know, technology was off. Getting ready for our first tribe meeting later at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And you guys can always sign up and join my tribe, www.community.BigEAstrology.com. Either $18 for the premium per month or $5. Get a lot of discounts, exclusive content. Check it out. It's really good. And we have our first. We're going to probably do 2 tribe meetings per month. And yeah, so this guy, my youngest son, was the first to wish me a happy Father's Day this morning. So, what do you think? Am I a good dad, Tay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You want to see who's here?
I'm going to read the comments and then I'm going to say.
And you can say something about me being a good dad?
Danny said,
Happy Father's Day.
Sia.
Hey, Sia.
Said Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
C said, good evening, Biggie.
What's up, C? Hopefully you're going to be at the tribe meeting, you and Danny.
In the group, Gigi.
Hey, Gigi.
Said Happy Father's Day as well.
Oh, my God. Tell Mr. Frederick I said Happy Father's Day. You know, we're going to, I'm going to be talking about my dad and then get into the Gemini-Cancer Cusp and actually show my dad's chart. So what did you want to say about your dad, Eric Taylor?
If I'm just going to keep it like compact because I can go on for a while, but
all right.
I mean, I would start with saying that you're probably my biggest like supporter and motivator.
Mm-hmm.
Supporter and motivator, and you honestly don't let me stop working hard, and you don't let me give up. When I'm feeling like just like sad or like I'm just not in the right mood, you're always making sure that I'm okay.
That's true,
you're nice to me. You play football with me back in the backyard.
Oh yeah, we definitely do that. And we're due for some family Scrabble, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
We're going to do a family movie tonight, probably.
I can honestly say that you're fun competition in Scrabble, but you'll never beat me.
Now, this is because the last game we played Scrabble, him and his brother won. Now, before that, they had never won.
Mm-hmm.
I've won. I think maybe William won, Solana, but they won the last time. So now you're going to set up a winning streak?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I just say that, you're honestly the best dad I can really ask for.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Being like supportive and then fun to play with in the backyard.
And soon I got to unretire from the video games, you guys. When a new Madden comes out and a new NBA 2K, I told them we're going to put it on my TV because the TV they play on is like so dark. It's hard for me to see it. I'm going to put it on my TV and I'm going to give them an old-fashioned whooping because they think Dad don't know how to play video games. You know, I haven't played in years, but I used to be nice with the college football. Maybe a little bit harder, but Madden and NBA 2K. So you'll hear around August, around their birthdays, Leo season. I'll give you some updates how Dad did. All right. Questionable, yeah. Well, William, he's at least a little decent. William and Jackson, they'll be in later. They're like, "Oh, Dad, I'll destroy you. I'll beat you by 100." I'm like, oh my gosh.
I doubt that.
How did Dad do bowling the other day? Right?
Oh, bowling?
I haven't bowled in years, I got like what, 2 strikes, 2 spares.
No, more than two. That was
Well, 3, maybe 3 spares.
3 spares in the first round, and then you had around like.
The second round I only had one. I had 1 strike and 1 spare.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah. But I came tied for first, and then Alana won the second match. We did bowling. She got passes for the boys to go bowling and stuff. It was really fun. So let's talk about my dad. So my dad is born and raised in Tampa, Florida, and he moved to New York, I think around 1950. He, he was, he was like a Harlem king. So my father, when he moved to New York, he was up there hustling in them streets. Back then, if you didn't have money, you were from a black family, and my uncles all joined the military. And my grandfather worked on the railroad and was a deacon at the church. And my grandma, she, maybe would, I guess, do, cleaning or, watch over other people's kids sometimes. But, she was a homemaker, really. And my dad was one of 6. He had 3 brothers, so there was 4 boys, just like I got 4 boys, but he had 2 sisters. So he moved up to New York, and he was, for a little bit, I think, staying with his older sister. And then I think she like maybe kicked him out or whatever. But anyway, we're going to show the chart, but my dad is the Aries Sun, right? That Aries the Ram back there, right? You want to grab that for me? The Aries the Ram. I got that. My dad got that. So this is not something that I got. So it shows you that my dad was into astrology. So my dad was the Aries and my mom was the Taurus. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. My dad was the Aries and my mom was the Taurus. My sister was the Libra. Now I do have a half sister. We're going to see if we can see that in the chart. She was a Taurus.
Wait, bring it up a little more so I can see it.
And
there's the.
Yeah, and then and I'm a Virgo. So here, let's put that back. Thank you. So that's from Dad. So that lets you know, and we'll see in the chart that he was into the esoteric occult knowledge. My dad was deep. He was big into numbers. I know he's into numerology. He, was one of the biggest bankers in Harlem. He was down with the numbers. If he was well educated, he just graduated high school. He would have been, if they allowed it, right, he would have been on Wall Street. He had an amazing business mind, and he was a trailblazer, a trendsetter. My mother was mixed. My mother was, of indigenous American, which is AKA Black, Bahamian and Jewish, and, very fair skin. My mom could, easily pass for white, but she was mixed. And my dad was, you see on the graphic, he was, looked just like me with chocolate, That's how I got Tay. Tay's darker than me. And I told Alana when we were pregnant with the twins that we'd have one light one and one brown one because her dad was chocolate too. So it was really cool when they came out. I was just like, he came out second, but I cut his cord. And when he was a little boy, he used to always sleep on me. He'd start with his mother and come to me, especially if they were crying in the middle of the night. You have to grab one twin so he doesn't wake up the other twin and then wake up the 4-year-old, So it was just like, oh my God, somebody's crying, and you run. And, but he would always come and lay on his papa because I cut his cord, and then Jackson always would stay with his mom and she cut his cord. So my father, though, he owned a couple of businesses, a candy store and a laundromat. He used to, I'm going to just give you this brief introduction before I bring up the chart to give you an insight. So he was a Scorpio Moon and a Leo Rising, Scorpio Moon in the 4th house. He was definitely an empath. He was very intuitive, and really, my dad was just, he knew how to make money. He was a businessman. He loved to deep sea fish, caught huge stingrays and marlins, had it up in the laundromat and in Acapulco. I remember one time, I think we were 5 or 6, almost drowned, and he saved me in the ocean. I went in the undertow, but I was gone, and he got me. And but we had to turn around. We were fishing, and we had to turn around because there was some like huge whale in the ocean. And I remember I was like 5 or 6, and the first time I ever tried, We had turtle soup. Now, old Eric would not try that, but I guess as a little boy, I remember trying it. But he was just a lot of fun. Aries men, just so you guys know, as they get older, they're still giant kids. Aries doesn't want to hear no. They are the pioneer maverick. They just work, 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 work. My dad was out of the house every day, 4 a.m. or up at 4 a.m., probably out by 5. I never would see him in the mornings. He was already gone. And he'd be home by like 6 or 7. He worked all day, worked super hard, and he was brilliant. You know what I mean? And my mother was a school teacher, and she was crazy smart. So I had very intelligent, smart parents. Unfortunately, my father was, I guess as they say, and I don't know with these different apps, I can't say the M word, I guess, unalived when I was 6. And you could see it in my chart in the 8th house and in my 11th house. It was somebody with a GUN outside of his car and blah, blah, blah on 110th Street and Morningside Drive. It was terrible. And, I'm going to write about it in my NDE book, a little kind of giving you a backstory of like where I come from, but, he was different from his brothers. My dad was kind of a little bit of the rebel because they all joined the military. They were all in the Korean War, things like that. But, my uncle Robert Lee, my uncle Bernard, my uncle Junior, JC, they were all in the military, and my aunt Estime, and, she was my favorite. Well, she was, my main aunt. And then Mary Alice was my oldest aunt. She was the oldest sibling. And, but you'll see, kind of just like me, my mom and my dad, we all have these tremendous stelliums. My dad's is in Aries, my mother's is in Taurus, and mine's in Virgo. So it's all wrapped around the sun. So it's really fascinating that we have that connection, you know what I mean? And not just like 3-planet stellium, like a lot. So it's really interesting. But I'll go through the chart and go through some events. Then we'll talk about the Gemini-Cancer Cusp. How you guys doing? The Aquarius Moon. Did you guys see? This is the thing. I don't know if you guys have been watching my astro weather. I haven't been getting too many comments lately. It's kind of dwindled, but you should watch it. I told you and I predicted it. And I actually put up a clip on my IG page. I cut a clip out because I predicted what all that went to happen yesterday. Now, prayers to everybody in Minnesota, but then there was stuff in Vegas and in Utah last night. There was a lot of chaos, but that was Mars square Uranus. You're still going to feel it today, but it's not as palpable as and intense as it was yesterday. But Mars is the adversary, the weapon. Uranus is unexpected events, sudden events, explosive energy with that square, plus Jupiter square Saturn. People's beliefs and ideologies, emotional feelings in Cancer against the assertive, aggressive, government, immigration, military, all this stuff. So that's the energy that is still lingering today. You'll feel it a little bit tomorrow, but it's going to start to dissipate. But Uranus, is going to, on the 17th, Mars goes into Virgo. So it's going to be just, today and tomorrow that you're feeling it. And then Mars will be in Virgo for a while. But, Uranus, when it gets to the 29th degree in a couple of days, remember July 7th, it's going into Gemini. But the 29th degree, which it will be on before this Cancer new moon, and I'll be recording that video in a day or two, it's really intense. Like Uranus, that's hashtag new Earth, 29 degrees, anything can happen. This is where we could have, power outages, resources, the internet, the food supply, look at it. I told you we've already been in WW3, right? Because of spiritual warfare. But when you see what's going on, that's kind of what's already happening, right? Israel, Iran, Russia, Palestine, Ukraine, this, that, and everybody's trying to get us involved. This is all financial. This has nothing to do with left or right, red or blue, liberal, conservative. This is about trying to manipulate things for control for the New World Order and for really trying to have checkmate and take away our freedoms financially, digitally, no paper money, all that stuff. So try to avoid the drama and the chaos. Don't put energy towards it. Faith over fear. Okay. So let's get any other questions, you guys, or comments before we get to the chart. And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there watching.
Or should I get wind before the chart or after?
No, yeah, let's just read this and then you can go to
Sia said, my dad just got back from Antigua.
Antigua. Oh my
Antigua.
gosh, that's nice.
He's an Aries too.
Really? And he's a big kid, I bet.
E. Claybrooks said,
What up, E. Clay Brooks?
he put a bicep emoji, 2 green hearts, and then 2 fire emojis.
That's right.
Quintella said,
Hey,
grand
Quintella.
evening, Eric, Mateus, and the Knowledge is Love Astrology podcast family.
Yes, and our tribes.
Peace, unconditional love,
7:30.
and light, beautiful spirits. Thank you.
Thank you, Quintella. Quintella is always
also
so
said,
sweet.
Happy Father's Day, Eric, and to all the fathers here.
Thank you. He was the first one to come wish me Happy Father's Day. Then it was, I think, it was Jack, and then it was William. So it was really nice. And I'm still waiting to hear from the big boy. I don't know. He's probably been busy at church. I don't know if he had to go into work today. But I haven't heard from my oldest son yet, Elijah. So I look forward to that as well. But it's been a great day. I woke up, I slept late. William had some friends over. And I literally woke up to like about 20 different text messages of Happy Father's Day. And I'm usually the one that initiates and reaches out to people. So it's nice for once for people to initiate and reach out to me. I still, hit up a couple of people, but it was my college buddies and stuff. So it was family, my cousins. It was really nice and just a good feeling. This used to be a very sad day for me, as you could imagine, since the age of 6, and now I'm 54. But since 2009, it's been straight through 15, 16 years celebrating Father's Day. So I love it, and I love all 4 of my sons. And this was my dream ever since I was 6. I wanted to be a dad, which is kind of a lot of pressure on a kid, I guess. But it was just like my heart and stuff. So just what I wanted. So let's get to the chart, and then we'll look at that, and then we'll get to Gemini-Cancer Cusp. Let's see here. So we got to get to screen share.
Let me help you.
Yeah, click on the screen share there. And then we're going to Astro.
Is it free astrology chart?
Yeah. You got to click and then click that. All right. So you guys can see this. And so there's the Leo rising, the Scorpio Moon, the 4th house, the Aries Sun in the 9th. We'll zoom in. And what's really interesting, we'll gauge things by the age. I just want to show you some annual perfections, right? He had Jupiter in the ascendant. My dad was 6 feet. I'm 5'11", so we're both taller than average. And, he was like a Hollywood star. My dad knew Malcolm X. He was friends with Will Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem came to the house when he was Lou Alcindor. My father knew him at Powell Memorial High School. My dad knew Muhammad Ali. I told you he used to work for Bumpy Johnson. He was bigger than life, my dad. He was a legend, truly, a Harlem king. My mom and dad used to break color barriers, go in different places, before blacks were ever allowed there, they'd be the first to go. So Red Fox heckled my dad, in Atlantic City at a club. He told me about it. He's like, "What you doing with that white girl, man? The old black chocolate brother?" Even though my mom was mixed, he said Red Fox was getting on him. He just laughed. But my dad was, I never met Muhammad Ali, but I met Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and that was pretty awesome. He had to duck down just to come into my home. Jupiter, this would tell you that my dad would be very philosophical. Now, this is 36 years old. So he had my sister at 33, and that is up here, 10th house. Now, what's fascinating about that, my sister, Libra Sun and a Libra Rising, Venus. So that carried over, okay? My mom's a Taurus, but the Venus there. So that's really interesting in his own chart. His father was a Capricorn and his mother was a Libra. Now, then 2 years later, my half sister, London, was born. She was a Taurus. That's Cancer, but in a foreign land in California. Papa was a Rolling Stone, you know, but my mom made sure he took care of his his love child, right? And then he had me at 38, just like I had William, but right before our 39th birthdays. So 36, 37, 38. And that's Libra. But what's interesting is that even though I'm a Scorpio rising, Libra gave me the Venus on the ascendant. I have Venus on the ascendant. So you could see in the chart sometimes, you guys, how you give your children their placements. So I had William at the same third house, 38 years old, and I have the Capricorn moon there. And so William's the Virgo rising, I'm the Virgo sun, but he has Saturn on the ascendant, Capricorn moon, the ruler. So you see how like sometimes you can literally have that play out like that in the birth chart. So, you know, when you look at this with the moon in Scorpio, you know, things were a little emotionally intense sometimes at the home, pretty empathic, but this will let you know that, you know, he was deeply connected to his mom. And probably, you know, there was like a spiritual connection. And my grandmother was the best. She passed away when I was in college, which devastated me. But she used to like send me cakes in the mail. She'd make homemade cakes, ice cream, you know, back down south, right? The black folks, the dog was an outside pet. They had chickens. I see my grandpa cut the chicken's head off, you know. But, you know, with the Aries Sun and Scorpio Moon, my grandparents stayed together. So they're both Mars ruled, his moon and sun. And then I lost my grandpa when I was in 6th grade and my uncle when I was in 8th grade. I remember going down to Tampa. Neptune, Virgo. In the second house, it tells you what? My dad was very intuitive with his speech. And like we were talking about a coffee talk yesterday, Quintella, with the Neptune there, right? He would have that decoder. So he knew like what people were saying and speaking. Like he could tell he was brilliant with that, but also earning money, right? But Neptune, money could come and go quickly. For him, it was mainly coming, but you know, he liked to spend money. You know, before he died, he bought my mother a red lipstick Mercedes, and my dad would get he had a Volkswagen that he drove, but he would get like a Lincoln Continental, like he'd get one like pretty much like every year, a new car or something. So, you know, and my dad had fur coats, the jewelry. You see the pictures, like he was dapper. He was debonair and dapper and just like, so the 5th house, we would see the first, the energy with the first kid. So with the Scorpio moon, the Sag, the 5th house, in terms of my sister, then the 7th house would show you the second child, my other sister, London, RIP. The Aquarius, again, foreign land, just like the Cancer. So that shows you she was, he was detached, didn't live with her. And then this 9th house stellium, that's me, right? So the 3rd child. And what's interesting, the 11th house would be my skills, Gemini. And in my unconscious soul chart, 88 days before my birth. And you guys should start booking that, the unconscious soul chart. Based on the gene keys, it's super powerful. It's really deep. But like Gemini, 11th house, that's me communicating over the internet, right? Knowledge is Love Tribe, astrological coffee talk. But So what's fascinating though, this 9th house, look at all this stuff. And this really shows he was connected to his dad. But I know like after high school, he moved up to New York because like he was about making money. He would cut school and go down to Little Havana and down in Tampa, and he was learning like the numbers from the Cubans, and my dad was something, but that's what you see here in this 9th house, right? Lilith, Mercury, Uranus, the sun, the part of fortune. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot, right? That's a pretty big stellium that also kind of points to, let me just zoom in on this. The Mercury Uranus, my father was a visionary. He would get crazy downloads, right? And also conjunct the Lilith. or the Lilith is really here. The true black moon lived to the sun. So he was very intuitive. When you have the sun conjunct Lilith, I mean, that is like powerful. But this is where he could bang heads with his dad. My granddad was, pretty fair and tough. But now look, the North Node in the 8th house and Mars. So I've noticed with people that have the North Node in the 8th house, both my mom and dad did it, there could be some questions around their death or, something unique or weird about it. Right. And North Node in 8th house and extreme wealth. And Michael Jackson has it too. So both my parents have the North Node in 8th house. This Mars in Pisces lets you know that his brothers could, go foreign lands, but that my father, he would do well financially once he went to a foreign land or traveled far away, which he went from Tampa, right, to New York. That's definitely a foreign land. And what's crazy, he's got the Eros here, and my mom was the Pisces moon and Pisces rising. So this would show that Pisces of sun, moon, and risings be attracted to my dad. So you see how that works out. And then Venus, Taurus, his wife was a Taurus. Venus is his wife. So you see, it's very literal in the chart. It's kind of wild. His Chiron wound, I don't want to say what I think it is, but, he got into some trouble in the streets of New York, I think, at age 20. But yeah, having Uranus in the 9th house, this would tell you in the Mars and Pisces North Node that my father was probably really into, obviously, he had the Aries the Ram. You know what I mean? So that's in the 70s. So, dad was up on the occult knowledge and stuff, which is, probably also where I got some of it from. Aquarius 7th house, definitely, could be a little detached. You know what I mean? He definitely, and the Saturn, so that's what's interesting. My father got married before my mother and then got divorced. And then he married my mom in 1962. Would have been 30. And he married my mom at the Saturn return when he was 29. And they were married till he was killed. So 16 years. So, my wife and I, we kind of hit that. We're about to get to 17 years. So it's kind of like wild. But Saturn Aquarius, right? In the 7th house, it could delay marriage. So it literally explained why he got divorced from the first wife, so pretty interesting, right? The Ceres and Cap in the 6th house. He definitely loved to be outside, wanted to be in nature. And then when I think of starting your own business, gambling, fantasy sports, all that, my dad has season tickets to the Knicks and the Giants. My mom kind of messed both those up, but that's a long story. But my dad loved sports. He loved the Packers, Raiders, and I guess the Giants, but he liked Vince Lombardi. And I became a Steelers fan because my mom thought Franco Harris was cute. And I was watching the Steelers Raiders. So, dads, I went, boys, they went against their dad. So I was rooting against my dad watching Steelers Raiders. And my mom thought Franco was cute. And I liked the black and gold jerseys and Lynn Swann and Terry Bradshaw. So I've been a Steelers fan since 76. So, and Tay is following in my footsteps, and then somewhat Jackson in terms of sticking to their team and being loyal, right? Elijah is Arizona Cardinals fan. Mateus is Kansas City Chiefs. Are you going to stay a Chiefs fan forever?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Jackson is the Eagles fan. Only William, the Gemini, he hasn't picked the team.
Players.
Yeah, he likes players.
He said if he had to choose a team that he likes, not favorite team, it would be the Giants because now they have Adubel, Cam, Scatterboo, Josh Dart,
Abdul Carter.
Abdul
Carter. Yeah, but they have Malik. He likes Malik Neighbors. Yeah, but he likes the Ravens a little, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of them are Steelers fans like their dad, so that just that irks my soul. But even the spirit, the lot of spirit. In the 3rd house, that was definitely dad in the local community, being very in tune, Libra, so just to give you a little bit of insight too, my dad was the type that Thanksgiving and Christmas, he would provide turkeys and hams for everybody. He paid people's rent. I met a guy years later after I lost my dad. I mean, I was an adult. And when I told him who my father was, he's like, do you want to hear a story? And I said, yeah. And he said, I knew your father. And he said, your father one time loaned me $10,000 to start my own business. And he said that, a couple of years later, he's like, it was probably early 70s, like 71, 72. He said, it took me 2 years or whatever, but I paid him back. But he said, your father was the definition of a gentleman and a gangster. He said, we were out on the street one day on like 148th, 149th in Amsterdam, and this guy was cursing in front of women. He said, your father like smacked him right in the face and said, don't you ever curse in front of a woman. That was William Kidd Taylor. Okay. That's my dad. Like he was no joke. He was strong too. He used to do like the one-handed push-ups and 2-finger push-ups. He was kind of diesel, but he was very strong, but always in good health and good shape. He liked his fish and his cognac, his salmon, and he loved his wine. He was a wine connoisseur, but he loved his cognac. He was he was a drinker, but he worked so hard, and I guess he really earned it. And I just wish that I didn't lose him, because and that's what I love with my boys. I want them to be able to always talk to me and trust me, and when they get older, that we're like best friends, because that's what I missed with my dad. I just wanted to be like his best friend. You know what I mean? It would have been so much fun, like being an adult with him. And so I did not get to experience that. And now, with 4 sons, like my cup runneth over. Boy, I get to really be on that journey with all of them, to see them get married and have kids. So I got to stay healthy and everything, to be here, because I look forward. Now, look, let's see. What's interesting is the 9th house, you can see his grandkids. So with Aries, right, basically you would see it here, right, that he had a bunch of grandsons. So the Mercury could actually be the twins, Uranus. And what's so funny, these guys have Uranus and Aries, right, conjunct the Mercury. So that's like having the Uranus, Mercury, and the twins, right? Unexpected twins. So maybe it's right there on the chart and we didn't even realize. The Mars in Pisces tells you, that he was pretty much in the flow. And if you really see, he had a grand water trine. Pluto, Mars, Moon. Look at that. So this lets you know that my dad was very spiritual, right? Now, I'm not saying he's a monk, because he was definitely not, He liked the finer things in life, but he was very aware, right? Obviously, he knew about astrology and numerology. He was very aware of the secrets of the world. When you have the moon trining Pluto and Mars, a grand water trine, that is so powerful. And that's why he was able to do all he did, I mean, my father, oh my gosh, if he got to live out his life, he would have been just a legend. And to see this Pluto 12th house, you can attract narcissists, but you could also be famous in foreign lands. So him and my mother went on a trip to Spain, and they thought my dad was Pele. They were like, Pele, the old soccer player from the Cosmos. Danny may know. Some of you young folks may not know that, but they thought my dad was Pele. They always thought he was famous. He looked like a Hollywood star. Very, charming, handsome, good-looking guy, and he was very popular. But this Juno in Cancer, that's interesting. My mom was, different background a little bit. But the Saturn here speaks to delay the marriage, the discipline. But, having that Pisces, and see what the Virgo South Node, 2nd house, he'd be spiritually connected to his family, but he would separate. And he did. He left Tampa and moved to New York. So that's what happens when you have the South Node in the 2nd house. You're going to leave your family home pretty early. Okay. If you have it in the 2nd or the 4th, you could see that. But the Scorpio Moon, he was always connected, and he would send money back home to Tampa, help my grandparents build an extension or something on the house. It was very sad. There was a lot of division in my family once we lost him. It was not so good, the brothers and my mom. And yeah, it was just a lot. My life's like a movie, though. I don't want to get into everything, but my uncle did, he did shoot my mom in the head and leave her for dead. And my mom was a miracle. She got up with her brains oozing out of her head, got in her red Mercedes-Benz, drove to my father's store. And then my stepfather and different business friends got my mom to the hospital where the doctor became kind of famous and saved her life. She took a year sabbatical off of school teaching and then went on to teach for another 20 some odd years. This was in 78. So yeah, both my parents were shot before the age of 8. So you could imagine what little Eric, went through. It was pretty intense, but God is good, and then the Taurus midheaven, right? So I told you he had the cleaner, he had the laundromat and the candy store. That's Taurus. The teeth, the sweets, Venus, you see, and he was dealing with the numbers, money. So this is very literal, in his chart. It's very, very powerful, Oh, and another thing, Virgo Neptune, right? And I'm a Virgo and I have Neptune on the ascendant. So, and he had the Virgo South Node. So there was this, I don't know, there's something there with me and my dad there. It's very powerful. But I feel like his Virgo South Node and Neptune, he kind of gave me those placements. And I think they got my name. My grandfather's name was Andrew Frederick. So that's where I think they got the Eric from. And my sister's name they got from Bumpy Johnson's daughter's name was, if you see The Godfather Harlem, it was a great show with Forrest Whitaker. I have to see the final season, see if they mention my dad at all. But Bumpy's daughter's name was Elise, and that's my sister's name. So, we don't talk anymore, but yeah, so this is a chart of a powerful, fun, amazing. Now I may have more. Now, see, this is the thing I'm going to tell you. When you have Jupiter and ascendant, you can have 2 or more siblings and 2 or more kids. Now, there's rumors that I have another brother and sister out there somewhere. So there may be 5 kids, and he's one of 6. So that's the Jupiter and the ascendant, right? And then I have 4 sons, and then I may be one of 5 kids. So I have Jupiter and the ascendant. So if you have Jupiter and ascendant, you could come from a bigger family, and you may have a lot of children. Same thing with Jupiter in the 4th or 5th house. I've seen it a little bit in the 3rd, but not as much. Okay. So let's go back to the chart. Where's the...
One over right there.
That's the studio?
Mm.
Okay, there we go. So Tay can read the chat, and then we'll go get the other boys. So that was my dad, you guys.
Quintella said you're welcome. C said mostly every Aries I know does not like the word no.
Yeah, Aries, oh my God, see, they just push through. They are very stubborn. Not stubborn like a fixed sign, but stubborn because they're determined, right? Remember I told you the Rams visually impaired, worse than me. So they go head first into things, and they're trying to learn this out through spatial awareness. Aries have to touch life,
He said, where did it just go?
What'd you guys think about the chart?
But I must admit, I'm an Aries rising myself, lol. Jackie Washington said, happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Jackie. We'll see you guys soon. Alana's doing some cooking. She's making me an apple and cherry pie for the family. And I didn't want anything fancy to spend a lot of money, like steak or scallops, like I normally like to get for my birthday. I'll say that for my birthday. But I asked her to make vegetable lasagna, so she's doing that.
Quintella said, I forget what you said the unconscious soul chart tells us.
The unconscious soul chart is 88 days before your birth, and it's really kind of showing you the formation of your soul. So being Quintella, you're an Aquarius, you'd be a Scorpio in your unconscious soul chart. I go from a Virgo to Gemini. So it's like the square back, 88 days, 3 months. So what I've been able to ascertain, it's really powerful. It's it's almost like describing your life, but on a soul level, not where you've been kind of manipulated by parents and the subconscious programming. This is kind of like unconscious, not subconscious. So this is like the chart really showing, like, it's through the gene keys and human design, like who your soul, is intended to be. So for me, I'm a Virgo moon, Gemini sun, Sag rising. And it really does resonate, you know what I mean? But it's powerful. Like it's on my website. And it's a chart that for you tribe members, after being in the community for a year, you can even get 50% off and do. That's one of the options. It's natal chart, soul return, unconscious soul, or secondary progression. So for tribe members, you can even, after, next June, book an unconscious soul chart, or just, do it, and get the, regular discount. But that's a good, 50% off. That's a really good discount on doing that for tribe members, where, you could really take advantage of that. Powerful chart. But go ahead.
Let's see. Quintella said, wow. She also said that's heavy.
Yeah, that's stellium, right?
Sia said before Quintella said that, Rose said, Happy Father's Day.
Hey, Rose, thank you. Rose, I hope you come and join our community sometime soon. We're having our first tribe meeting tonight, and a lot of people here are joined. It's really fun.
Sia said, that's pretty wild. I hope the story about your mom is in the book. At this point, we need an autobiography. Wait, I said that wrong. Autobiography.
That's right.
If it isn't already going to be that.
Well, it's going to be more about the NDE, but I am going to share a little bit, you know what I mean? Because that kind of gives you a story of what I experienced through coma. Because there was a lot of connections to my mom and dad in terms of how they suffered or what they went through. I actually went through that in coma. I was in wheelchair in coma. I got shot in coma. So it's really deep. Like, listen, I can't explain it. It just happened to me, It's whew. Tell you, this Scorpio rising life, you guys, no joke. All right, go ahead. And you go, read one more and then tell your brothers where you leave off at.
There's only 3 more.
Okay, go
ahead. Sia said, Aries men tend to be rolling stones, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Yes. They're playboys. And they, unfortunately, sometimes Aries and Gemini men can cheat, you guys. Sorry, fellas, I'm telling you, but yeah, they can. And I'm not saying anybody can cheat, but Aries and Gemini, yeah.
Janice said, Happy Father's Day, Eric. And Quintella said, oh, okay, that sounds really interesting.
Okay. All right, now go get whoever's next. Tell them to come on. So, yeah, no, thank you, guys. And I can't wait to see my tribe. We're going to talk about the group. We're going to, talk about, I didn't get to upload anything today. I'm going to do a little write-up, breaking down the Aquarius moon for you guys, just this energy. But you saw yesterday, we started off with Coffee Talk, Aquarius moon conjunct Pluto. And then, you've seen, he left off on the last comment, I think was Quintella. But, you want to say hi to the people? Show them your cast. Say hi.
Hi.
Oh, you don't have your shirt on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. He doesn't have his shirt on.
I just showed my hand.
He just showed his hand. Well, you want to tell him a little bit how we're going to close the door?
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell your brother. Close the door. Tell him how am I as a dad?
Honestly, amazing.
Amazing. I like that.
Best dad I've ever had best that I've ever had in my entire life. In my past lives.
In the past lives too. We'll see how deep he is. I'm the best dad in multiple lives. Okay.
And the amount of stuff you sacrifice and do for us is just like amazing. That I can have you as my father.
Okay. Yeah. And Jack, you guys, maybe I was gonna say you guys have seen his face before, but Jack and I, like, he's the one that resembles me the most. Like, William is a straight hybrid mix between me and Alana. Mateus is, browner, but his face is more Alana's. We call him like mini Alana sometimes. He's funny. And then Jack is mini me, like the video games, the sweets, Jack, the sports. Like, I was good at every sport. So was he. We were bowling the other day. He was bowling with his left hand, even with the cast on the right hand. And he did pretty good. He got 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, his high was 80. Have you been beaten 80 before other games? Yeah. So I mean, he's good at football. He doesn't really play baseball, but when he plays, he's good.
We went,
Soccer star, basketball, he was good.
The second time we went bowling, I got 100 and something.
Oh, so he got over 100 with his weak hand and wearing a cast. So he's just a natural athlete, and that's how I was. I was good at every sport. It was just frustrating, and that's what I love with them, right? I was strategic. I married Alana because I loved her, but it added that she had 20/20 vision because I wanted my boys to have good vision, because I knew that, I was a good athlete. So he definitely, Williams on the football team, he plays cornerback. He may be starting this year in JV, but Jack is going to probably play some corner and receiver. And they start up football in late July, August. So we got to, July 1st, he goes to the doctor. And hopefully we're praying. And thank you guys for sending healing energy to Jack that he's going to not need surgery. And when he takes off the cast July 1st, it's all going to be healed. We've been doing the sound bowl to get the frequencies on it, right? You got to do that again today, too. Yeah. That can really help.
I did that with Mom and Matisse.
Yeah, but that was a couple of days ago. You should do it, try to do it every day. It's really going to help you. So, so let's get to, because I want to take a little break before we have our tribe meeting at 7:30. So yeah, let's get to the Gemini-Cancer Cusp. Any other questions though about my dad or his chart? When you see the Mercury-Uranus conjunction and then you saw the Lilith-Sun conjunction, it tells you that my dad got a lot of downloads and deep. One, that he loved to travel. And he was always on a plane flying somewhere, right? He loved to travel. He would go sit courtside, watch the Lakers play with Kareem. But he, and loved going to Acapulco, and my mom, they, Bahamas, St. Thomas, Aruba. I mentioned, I think you said, Antigua. I think he'd been to Antigua, Jamaica. Like he loved the water. My father loved to swim, and he loved to catch fish. We got the huge pictures. I have to show it and put it up with the big swordfish and the marlin he had. Remember? Yeah. This picture is really cool. And so, and I know he's just watching over my boys. Jackson used to play with him all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Jackson used to see his grandpa in the house and would play and we would wonder when Jackson was little, you guys saw his interview, but Jackson would be hiding in the weirdest places. And we were like, why? And he was he told me later he was playing hide and seek with my dad. And I was like, that sounds just like my dad, but that Mercury Uranus, it literally could be unexpected twins, grandchildren, 9th house. I never saw that before. So even as the astrologer, I don't always interpret my dad's chart so much, it's actually funny. I look at it, but I've never really as if I was doing a chart reading for him. I've never gone through and done the full chart. I just kind of look at my dad and my mom's chart. I think I started doing my mom's chart before she had passed, but but I know both their charts really well. So any comments or questions?
Quintel's the only one who commented. Okay. She said, "Hi Jackson, I hope your arm is feeling better as time goes on."
Tell her thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. So let's get to the Gemini-Cancer Cusp. We got one of our tribe members, Hope, has this cusp. It's the Cusp of Magic. My cousin's wife has it. This is Elizabeth Warren, Nicole Kidman, Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Mraz, I think Felicia Rashad. Who else? Meryl Streep. Interesting people. So the Cusp of Magic, Gemini-Cancer Cusp, and you guys can vote in community. I was saying, what do you think would be the best cusp love match? They definitely could do well with the Libra, Scorpio, and Aquarius, Pisces, but I think Leo, Virgo, Aries, Taurus, Cusp. Cuspies tend to go good with Cuspies. Remember, you're not like a cusp. You're either a Gemini or a Cancer, but if it's 28, 29, 0, 1, 2 degrees, only a 5-day orb, when people tell you 7 to 9 days, and it will switch. Like this year, it's going to be from the 18th to the 22nd. And a lot of years, it's the 19th to the 23rd, but we're coming off of a leap year. So things are a little off even on your solar return charts, right? Like my solar return this year will probably be September 9th, not on the 10th. So I'll give you an example. I haven't done my solar return chart yet, so I got to look at that. But yeah, Quintella, hopefully that answered it for you. The unconscious soul chart, it's kind of like really describing your life on a soul level. like how you would be unconsciously before you get infiltrated by the television, the media, the parents, like your pure soul. That's how I really interpret it. And so I think that's kind of fascinating, 88 days, because you're growing in your mother's womb. And think of it, like you could survive. I could have survived in Gemini season. Like I would have probably been in an incubator, but 88 days before your due date, that's like, because you're kind of really technically in the womb for 10 months, even though they say 9 in terms of like from conception to, birth. So you could really, you could make it if you were born like on your unconscious soul birthday. And the gene keys, it gives you a whole new birthday. So like I said, it made me a Gemini. I forgot it was like early June or late May. I think it was early June. But it's powerful. So I highly recommend you guys do that chart reading. I haven't really promoted it. I need to promote it more and let people know. But if you explore my website, I think I put pretty decent descriptions of each chart. So Gemini-Cancer Cusp, think about it. So it's a masculine mutable air sign with a feminine cardinal water sign. And, these people, they are magic because the Gemini, the Mercury and the moon, it's the analytical, logical mind and the emotional response system mind, right? They're very intuitive. They can have really quick, their processing is so quick, but they also go with the feeling. This is one of the most interesting cusps. Very talented people. Think of Meryl Streep. She's an amazing actress. Nicole Kidman. I worked with her on The Interpreter. Very nice. She was actually really sweet. Really nice lady. She was staring at me like crazy. It was almost weird. You know what I mean? But that was and it was so funny. That was one of the movies that I was in. I had the shortcut. Had like a dark Caesar. Because I cut off all my hair, and then I was able to be a security guard in the UN. I didn't do it for this movie because it wasn't like a lead role or anything. I was just like featured background, but I made a ton of money. Okay. We got another comment?
Until said you're welcome. And then NPC the game. I don't know what that means. 150 TWD.
That's that comment?
Yeah.
150 what?
TWD. And then it says Happy Father's Day from Taiwan.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
Oakland fam, I have 7-year-old Taurus son who is Scorpio rising. I am a Scorpio sun, Taurus rising. What are some lessons you think we can learn from each other? Oh, by the way, if anyone can answer this, what does TWD mean?
Yeah, TWD.
Krista Law said I was in
Krista Law.
ballon.
In a what?
In a ballon for 8 months after birth. Happy Father's Day. Quintella said yes, that did answer my question.
Yeah, thank you for the Happy Father's Day. Hey, Christina Law. Hopefully you join our community. It's live now. And the Scorpio, now what was his placement? He's a Scorpio, and his son was a Scorpio rising and Taurus sun?
His...
So, the main lesson, I think, honestly, and welcome, thank you for coming to the channel. Please subscribe. It's really about not being so fixated and stubborn. Taurus is the most stubborn of the fixed signs. Then probably Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo. Leo may be the least. Leo and Aquarius may be most arrogant. Maybe Aquarius. What do you want to say?
So let me just finish this. I wonder if I would connect more of that chart than my natal, because my natal chart rising sign feels foreign to me.
Foreign.
Stephen the
Steven the Jupiterian. What's up, Stevie
Happy
Weezy?
Father's Day. Quintella said he sent super chat for 150. That's what Jackson means. That means Jackson. NPC the game who sent the thing.
Wait, he said $1.50?
150 Taiwanese dollars.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, thank you so much for the super chat. I don't know what that means in Taiwanese and American dollars, but I appreciate anything, you guys, and that's really kind of you. Remember, if he's a Scorpio rising, Read his placements again because he gave a super chat, so I want to break it down for him.
Happy Father's Day from Taiwan via Oakland fam. I have a 7-year-old Taurus son who has a Scorpio rising. I am a Scorpio rising sun, Taurus rising.
Taurus rising.
I mean, no,
Scorpio
I am
sun.
Scorpio sun, Taurus rising.
Okay,
What are
so
some-
you're flip flop. So that's
And
why
then
it's
he
so
said-
funny.
wait.
I got it.
Sorry.
So that's why your son, his son is in the 7th house, because you have got to help him and guide him in the marketplace, and maybe even help him in relationships and a marriage. You know, having a son in the 7th house, he's going to light up when he's in doing business, negotiating, right? The key is, you know, as a Scorpio rising, you have to guide him and let him know he's guided by the ancestors. Sagittarius 2nd house, he'll never go broke and homeless, but he's going to go through a lot of transformations. He's here to break generational curses. So he's here to clean up any traumas you went through in your whole family lineage line, you know, but you are too. So you're both doing that because you're a Scorpio sun. And also you have to let me know at his birth, did wifey go preeclamptic or emergency C-section? Something must have happened. And same thing with you, with your mom. If you have a Scorpio sun, moon rising, there was some sort of challenge at birth during the pregnancy, preeclamptic or something. Okay.
And then at the end, he said, "What are some lessons you think we can learn from each other?"
Well, I think the thing is not being so fixed and stubborn, but also having that discipline to research whatever the passion is, the topic, right? You as the Taurus rising, you know, that 5th house is going to be for the first kid, the Virgo, right? So if he's your first child, he may have some Virgo placements or energy, you know. Even let's see. Now I was going to say he could have been a Virgo North Node, but he's probably not a Virgo North Node. But you know, he probably would have some energy or placements, you know, that could speak to that or the character traits. And then you, you as a Taurus rising, him as a Scorpio rising, he's got Pisces in the 5th, so he could have a Pisces child, very creative. You know, you don't want to be overly critical of him. You know, you know that Virgo 5th house, don't be so nitpicky and critical, you know what I mean? And just make sure you let him know that, you know, being practical and pragmatic is going to be his superpower. And he's going to have the Gemini 8th house. So Gemini sun, moon rising ladies could be into him, but he's definitely going to be into, and you could teach him the esoteric occult knowledge, astrology, gematria, numerology. Okay. So go get William and let him finish out the show. We only got a couple minutes left. So yeah, I'm going to get ready to go so I can relax a little bit before our tribe meeting. So you guys that are here, you know, you can go to www.community.BigEAstro.com, either $18 or $5 a month. And here's my firstborn, the truth. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, everybody?
See, now tell them how is it having me as your dad?
Well, that's like a loaded question. Well, you know, just like every day, you know, like it's an everyday just dad, you know, he's pretty normal. You know, he's just like, we just, you know, debate about sports like most other like.
Oh, the big debate is, you know, he loves LeBron and I love Jordan. So, you know, we go back and forth with that. But besides that, right now, you don't have a favorite team in football or basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would wish that it was the Yankees in baseball, the Steelers or the Knicks, but he does his own thing. You tend to like players, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, but am I a fair dad? Am I nice? I teach you what? About what?
Discipline. That's a big one. Responsibility. Like taking responsibility for yourself.
Hard work.
Hard work, yes. And
there's my Gemini.
Yeah.
Move in so they can see your face. Now, see, he's kind of like, he's a mixture of Alana now. You know what I mean? Like he's a complete mixture. Jackson's more like me. Mateus is like mini mom, you know? So it's kind of funny like that. So, all right, you want to read the last couple of comments? We're going to get ready to go. Let me, before you do, the last couple of things about the Gemini-Cancer Cusp. They say it's the cusp of magic because they are magic. They can work all day and then come home and nurture and care. Like these women are magical. Think about Elizabeth Warren, right? She was the one that actually wanted to run and be president years ago. because she worked and taught severely disabled children. I did that, and I know if anybody does that, you got to have a really good heart. Now, I'm not saying any of these politicians are nice or good people, but that's the closest one that I heard of. She worked with disabled kids, and you can't fake that. That's in the trenches. It's hard, hard work. You got to have a real heart to work with disabled children. Okay, trust me, I did it for 10 years. I speak from experience. So, but these people are the Jack and Jane of all trades, the Gemini and the Cancer. So they can be very verbal, a lot of input, very mental, and then they have that intuition of the Cancer. So this cusp of magic is really powerful. They're good at business, but they're good, like they'll work, but then they'll throw the great birthday party for their kids. They'll be real funny and play board games with their kids, stuff like that. Now, we're going to probably do a family movie tonight for Father's Day, but we definitely have to get back to some Scrabble. And I got to, finish showing him. I got to teach them spades, and then we got to do chess.
Yeah.
And
I also want poker too.
Okay, so we'll have to do some poker. So we got a lot of stuff to do this summer, but I've been so busy working on my book, but he's got football practice and he's getting ready to start a job and all this stuff. So there's just a lot going on this summer. All right, you want to read the last couple of comments?
Yeah, do you know exactly where we were by any chance?
I think maybe the last one was Quintella.
Oh,
Rose.
Kristen Lodge, you read that one?
He said, you could read it.
I was in a balloon for 8 months after birth. Happy Father. Okay. Stephen the Jupiterians.
And I don't know what that means, a balloon. Like, is that because it's like an incubator to help you grow or something? Or like you were sick? Like, you got to explain. I don't really know, but go ahead.
Quintella said, yes, that did answer my question. It sounds so interesting.
Yeah, that's a great chart reading.
I wonder if I wonder if I would connect more with that other or with that chart.
No, that's what I'm saying. Trust me. Like the fact that it gave me a Virgo moon, the Sag rising, I have to get used to that, but it makes sense because I'm kind of like that teacher and seeking truth and knowledge. Scorpio is the truth speaker, and Sagittarius, remember I was telling you yesterday, because Erica is her kid, Scorpio Sag is the truth. Scorpio is the truth speaker, and Sag is like the truth seeker, pontificating the wisdom, beliefs, higher knowledge. Close the door, buddy. You know what I mean? So like that's really So like for example, it would change your moon and rising. You'd be a Scorpio Sun, Quintella, and who knows what your moon or rising would be. So I highly recommend all you guys to book an unconscious soul chart. It's powerful. It messed my head up, and I'll tell you why. Because in my song, My Mission, I said I was born in September, but I was ready in June, eager to patrol with my shining soul. I plan to be the glue to the globe and just reclaim the names for the brothers that been framed and shamed in this dirty and righteous game. Never lame or tame, stay dry in the rain, go against the grain, and I could heal your pain. Between TV, film, and hip hop, the whole world will know my name. ERERIC, just need a wife and kids to continue my dynasty, the son of Kid Taylor, and that's a real legacy. I'm out. I was born in September, ready in June. That's the unconscious soul chart. That whole rhyme is like prophetic. I had to play. I'm going to put it in the tribe because that's crazy. Like if you even listen to the lyrics, I described my chart and I didn't even know it. I just knew I was a Virgo. Go ahead.
Okay. Stephen Jupiterian said Happy Father's Day. Yeah. Quintella said he sent a super chat for 150. That's what that means.
Yeah, she read that. Yeah. But it was Taiwanese money, so I don't know what that transfers to.
MPC the game said it's super chat. It's.
And NPC the game, you're new. You could share your Sun Moon Rising.
I really appreciate that reading, brother. Not being so nitpicky is something I need to hear. My son was born with a C- section. When I was born, they used forceps on my head to pull.
See? Oh my God. God bless both of you. That's the Scorpio Sun and Rising. I know my stuff, man. Hey, book a chart reading for your son, man. It'd be my honor and pleasure because I can see in the chart, even, learning styles, elementary, middle school, high school, really helping you just to become the best dad possible. You know what I mean? So definitely reach out, Eric at BigEAstrology.com, or look at the website, BigEAstrology.com. The Gemini sale for Sun Moon Risings ends on June 20th, and the Cancer begins. Cancer Sun Moon Rising. So it's either 305 or 206, but you got to email me. The sale's not on the website. Eric, ERIC, at BigEAstrology.com. Okay. It was my pleasure, and thank you again for the super chat. But yeah, just don't be so intense. You know, he's going to be intense, Scorpio risings. But that's the thing. Let him know he's a natural empath. He's got to protect his energy. And that's something I had to do over the years, but I was doing it intuitively without even being guided and knowing. I didn't have my dad. You know, I was just like out there, like, you know, figuring it out on my own. You know, but that Scorpio rising, I think, protected me. But it can get hectic too. You know, I definitely dodged some pitfalls and dangers. All right, go ahead. The last couple comments, and then we're gonna go.
All right. Quintella said, "Hi, William. This is a very special live to have your boys express how they feel. Having you as a father was so touching to see."
Thank you. Yeah, they're good guys. They're good guys. You know, this is my team, Team Taylor. I can't wait till they're all grown. Like, that's gonna trip me out. And I tell them what I tell them all the time, right? I want you to be taller than me, kinder, smarter, richer, funnier. Well, I don't know about funnier. The thing that they will never be able to do better than me is to rhyme. That I will not relinquish. I would battle them to the death and I would win because that's just how I am. I'm very competitive as an MC. But I want them, like, you know, I mean, oh my God, I'm so proud. Like, watching him play, and I can't wait for this football season, you know, seeing him under the lights, you know, and he would tell me what it feels like coming out of the tunnel for his games. And it's like, his field is cool, right? Like, his high school is nice. Like, oh my God, my high school is so not that nice. But you know what I mean? Like, first of all, my high school didn't have a football team. You know, growing up in New York City, very few schools had teams in Manhattan. More in the outer boroughs, Brooklyn, Long Island, Queens, they had teams. A couple of Bronx schools. The city, you know, there's like a couple of schools. But, you know, for me, I'm not one of those dads. He'll tell you I'm not a psycho dad where I'm like vicariously living through my son. But I felt the joy just watching him. It was like I was there, you know, and that was cool. So, you know, I was even the humble dad when we used to play basketball. And one time his team beat this other team. I think it was 28-12. And William had 14 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, outscored the other team. And the other dads were like, you know, wow, your son's on fire. Like, William came down, crossed over, did like a little hezzy, and then shot at the jumper. And the other dads were looking at me like, oh my God, like, you know, and I was just like, you know, I was just trying to play the humble dad. Because I hate when when you had sports stuff, you hate the parents that are like, oh my God, he'll tell you. Remember that one dad on your team, the kid? Yeah. It was abuse. Like, it was actually scary. We prayed for this kid. The father was like, yelling and screaming and barking at the kid, like in front of all the other parents. Like, he didn't even care. He was psychotic. Like, I felt for that kid because I knew he was getting butt whippings when he got home. Like, even William was like, whoa, like, that's kind of weird, right? Mm-hmm. You remember that guy? Like, he was insane. All right. Any other last comments? So thank you guys. Yes, this has been fun.
Yeah. Phoenix Animatoli said,
yeah. Hey, Phoenix.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. How are you? Hopefully you join our community soon. We have our first tribe meeting tonight. We're getting ready to head over there at 7:30. Wifey she'll be there. She's cooking now. So I can't wait. We're going to, you know, just talk about the community and the growth of it and, you know, the different groups, and it's going to be fun. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Jackie and Quintella and Danny, and hopefully Steven makes it, and Steven Jupiterian. You should sign up, man. You got to join. Okay, it's going to be really fun. We got a nice community, and people are learning and sharing, and you know, we got to just you know, the more we all put into it, the better it's going to be. But it's really awesome, you know, and it's nice to have like these tribe meeting events. We're going to probably try to do 2 a month. I think that'll be really fun, but we'll talk about it today. Okay. Any last questions before I leave?
Phoenix asked, when's the next show?
Oh, the next show. Oh my God. Great question, Phoenix. Tomorrow, little early. This week I'm doing early. Please come. You do not want to miss this. He's really big on Instagram, maybe on TikTok too, I'm not sure. But Joseph Octaviani, Life the Plant Way. He's got an herbal shop and store. in Long Beach, California, but he ships all over the world. He is brilliant with the herbs, the tinctures, the plants, healing. We've tried his products. Remember the hair stuff we did?
Yeah.
His hair stuff is amazing to help your hair grow, but also to nurture your scalp if you have dry scalp. But just for hair growth, he does stuff for the lungs, the liver, the kidneys, diabetes, high blood pressure. He is brilliant. Come tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, live. Joseph Octaviani. He's a good brother, my Puerto Rican brother. He's got a nice business. He's got 3 young kids, him and his wife. He's a really good dude. And you'll see, I got to find the video and put it up in the community. I'll be putting those up, but he's offered a nice discount so you guys could take advantage of his products. Really good discount. I think it's like 15-20% off. So really, you want to take advantage of it. So I'll put that up. But you just let him know you're from, Eric's community, and he'll hook you up. So that's tomorrow, the 16th. And then on Wednesday, Joy Baker's coming back. So these are 2 people coming back. Joseph was not live, but I'm going to, as soon as the show's over, I'll put it on my main page so you can watch the featured video. And then Joy Baker, we're going to do live readings. She is extremely intuitive, and she's an energy worker and stuff, and just so sweet. So we're going to do that, and I'll do some live astrology readings of your placements, big 3. So come on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. So it's an early week, and then I'll be back next Sunday. The Thunder, I think, will win Game 5. They'll go up 3-2. Florida Panthers will probably close out in the NHL Stanley Cup on Tuesday. They're up 3-2 over the Edmonton Oilers. And happy Father's Day to me and to my dad. Dad, I love you. Legend. We were showing your grandfather's chart, and it was kind of really cool because that Mercury-Uranus conjunction in the 9th house may literally show the Taylor twins, like, unexpected twins. So that's kind of wild. The 9th house shows your grandchildren. Okay. And that Scorpio moon, I think that, passed down to me and the twins, because they have a Scorpio moon and I'm a Scorpio rising. So you'll see even with my guy with the Scorpio and the Taurus, like you gave those energies to your son. You know what I mean? You'll see it through family. It's great to see a grandparent, a parent, and a child's chart. When I look at my mom and dad's charts and then mine and then my boys, you could see placements that were passed down. It's really cool. So, all right, you guys, that's it. Any last comments? That's it.
Steven said he sent you the Cash App.
Cash App for what?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, let me know. I don't know. You sent the Cash App for what? Because the community, you gotta go pay in the community. That's for the community. But let me know what the Cash App's for. But I appreciate it. And thank you guys. This was awesome. Oh, Coffee Talk Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. The United States Supreme Court chart. That's going to be heavy. And the Gemini birth chart sale ends Friday night, midnight. Gemini Sun Moon Risings. Okay. I should make him pay me for a solar return chart. Do his solar return chart. You ready for a birth chart reading?
Sure.
I won't charge him though. I give them free astrology readings all the time, and I tell them, watch out for these energies. They couldn't sleep last night. They were up. They came home like 3 a.m, disturbing my sleep. They were just hanging out in the community, so it was safe. But that was that energy, right? You had a lot of energy last night, right?
Yeah.
That was Mars square Uranus. That was his Mars in 12th house, Leo. He could not sleep. Uranus and Taurus in your 9th house. 9th house is going on trips, hips and thighs. Like he was just on the go yesterday. It's very literal. The astrology never stops astrology.
Phoenix is asking, where's the community being held after the show?
Oh, it's we're doing a Zoom meeting. So it's if you want to sign up and join, I got a couple minutes. I could send you the link. If not, you can make the next one. But it's $18 a month or $5 a month. It's www.community.BigEAstrology.com. It's all on my community page or my post. You'll see the link there. And the Knowledge is Love Tribe. All right. I love you guys. I'll see a lot of you very soon. And wifey will be here too. Big E Astrology. Happy Father's Day. And thank you to all the dads out there. Keep doing what you do. And thank you to my father, my mother, William and Cheryl, and William Kid Taylor. You were definitely a great dad and a true legend. I just wish I got to live longer with you, or have you live longer with me. All right, you guys. I'll see you in the community, and then I'll see you guys live come tomorrow night. Joseph Octaviani, 6 p.m. Eastern. Going to be freaking awesome. He's brilliant, and he's going to give you some health tips and remedies. This guy's good. All right. Knowledge. Episode 350, honoring my